Mark Twain once said, the two most important days of your life are the day you are born and the day you discover why. Have you got to a stage in your life where your job is okay, but it's not exciting? Are you getting into your late 40s, 50s, or early 60s? Your children are becoming independent, but you still feel like 30 and you really wonder, what am I going to do now? Do you ever feel that you don't have a purpose in life, that you don't really know why you're here? Do you sometimes feel there's just something missing, that your life's not complete? My mentor, Mr. Jim Rohn, used to say, if you don't like where you are, move. You are not a tree. Now that's easy to say, you are not a tree, but how do you move? Especially when you've got heavy financial commitments, you've got family commitments. How do you actually find a purpose? How do you fill that gap that you feel is missing in your life without upsetting a whole lot of people? Well, if you can identify with what I'm saying, leave a comment below. I'd like to hear where you're at, and stay tuned for the rest of this video, because in this video, I will show you 4 simple steps. Now, remember I said simple, not easy, but 4 simple steps to discover why you're here, your life's purpose. And I believe that at the end of it, you'll have far more clarity as to what you want to do with the next few years of your life. G'day, my name is Willem, and on this channel I share the wisdom and the philosophies that Mr. Jim Rohn shared with me over 30 years ago. By consistently executing and applying those principles and those philosophies in my life, I have been able to live a life on my terms, and I truly wish the same for you. Now, today's video was brought about by a comment that Stuart Ramsey, a subscriber to the channel, left on one of my videos a little while ago. Stuart said this. He said, "Hi Willem, I have been watching your YouTube videos and find them very useful. I'm approaching retirement in my post and I'm not sure what I will do. Would you consider making a video on changing direction later in life? I am 61 years old." So thanks, Stuart. It's a great question. Now, could I say, Stuart, being 61 years old is a huge advantage. You're only halfway through your life, I believe. And so what is it you would like to do with the remainder? And that is a really good question. I think it comes down to, what is our purpose? What do we really want to do? Why are we here? And so I've created this video to take you through 4 steps that I think will help you answer a lot of those questions. From my own experience, I've found that my purpose has changed through my life. When I was younger, I originally wanted to join the priesthood, was because I was brought up in a Catholic school. Then I wanted to become a doctor. Finally, I got into my own business at age 24, and I felt my purpose was to help the people that worked for me to become the best version of themselves and share with them the philosophies that Jim Rohn shared with me. And now in my 60s, I'm doing this. I'm creating videos that I hope somebody somewhere will find useful and maybe apply to their life. So I think our purpose changes through our lives. I don't think we have one single purpose that we are born with. However, I do believe we are here for a reason. And I think if we can discover that reason through these 4 steps, our lives become a lot happier and we feel more contented with life in general. So let's hop into these 4 steps. And if you stay until the end, I will provide you a link to a PDF, which will ask you 11 questions that will really help you clarify what your purpose is, why you're here, and maybe why you're feeling that emptiness in your life right now. So let's hop straight in. Now, step 1 is to find your Ikigai. Now, before you say, hang on, Willem's lost it, let me explain. In their book, Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life, Morales and Garcia describe Ikigai as the Japanese equivalent of a raison d'etre, or a reason to live, your life's purpose. And what they say is that if you can find the intersection between what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid to do, then you have found your Ikigai. And you can see that in this diagram here, which I think really sums it up well. So essentially, to find your Ikigai, you need to answer those 4 questions. What are you good at? what does the world need? What do you love doing? And what can you get paid to do? Now, those are 4 simple but not easy questions to answer. And it will take you some time before you really discover the happy medium, that intersection, your Ikigai, where those 4 areas all overlap. And for me personally, it did take a number of years before I really went, this is what I really want to do. This is what I really enjoy doing. And I know the world needs it. So don't rush this process, okay? It's something that's great to do when you're on holidays, when you can take a bit of time out and just sit down and really ponder those 4 questions. And the PDF that I alluded to at the beginning of this video will help you do exactly that. So that is step 1, find your Ikigai. Now, when Stuart made this comment, I actually chased him up and I asked him, what do you like doing? What are you passionate about? And Stuart has been a dog handler. He likes playing guitar and he also invests in the share market. Now, there is probably the beginnings of Stuart's Ikigai. Now, how do you get paid for it? There's a really good question. Could I recommend a great book to you? It's called How to Get Paid for What You Know by Graham Cochran. And essentially what Graham talks about is how do you take what you know, what you're good at, and how do you monetize that? Either through YouTube, online courses, digital products. Now, I'm not saying that is an easy, quick solution. However, what I would recommend is that you start early, because getting into this area and getting paid for it is not a sprint. It's a long-term project. It's a marathon. But the sooner you can start, the better. So you can start part-time. So I think Graham's book is a really good start to get you moving in that direction. Another one that I would recommend, or another person that I would highly recommend, is a gentleman called Ali Abdaal. You'll find him on YouTube, and he has different videos on how to make money on YouTube, how to make passive income without actually having a job. So have a look for Ali Abdaal's videos. I'll put a link to a couple below, which I think you'll find really useful. Now, before I go to step 2, could I ask you a question? When I said get paid for what you know, do digital products, get on YouTube, sell courses online, did you go, I could never do that? No one would ever pay me for what I know. Who would want to pay me for being a dog handler or learning how to play guitar? And may I say, that is a legitimate fear. But that is all it is. It's our little voices going on in our head telling us that we're not capable. I'd like to tell you a story. There is a Cherokee chief. He has his grandson on his lap, and he says to the grandson, I have a terrible fight going on inside me. It's between 2 wolves. One is evil, he's sorrowful, he's negative, he's always fearful, his ego gets in the way. The other wolf is a good wolf. He's kind, he's benevolent, he cares, he likes to serve others. And this constant fight is going on inside me, and it's going on inside you. And the grandson says to him, which of the 2 wolves wins? And the grandfather replies, whichever one you feed. So step 2 is get rid of your fears. Now, I know that's easier said than done, but let me assure you that fear is the biggest killer of human endeavor. It destroys confidence. It doesn't allow people to really become the best version of themselves. And it's not easy to do, I'm not saying that, but I am saying that if you want to get to a stage in your life where you want to realize your Ikigai, your true purpose, the things you really love to do and can get paid to do, you need to overcome these initial fears. And it is worth doing. It's not easy, and I can tell you I've gone through this many times myself. You know, even when I started this YouTube channel, I thought no one will watch this. How am I going to do it? I've got no idea how to get in front of a camera. And yet now I'm finding a lot more comfortable, simply because I refuse to let that wolf of fear get the better of me. So that's step number 2. Accept that you're going to be fearful, but don't let it rule you. The good wolf will always win if you allow it and you feed it. So number 2 is disown your fears, really believe in yourself, take the next step. Now, step number 3 is determine your core values. If you have a list of core values, things that you will tolerate and things you won't tolerate, it makes life a whole lot easier. It's like a magic compass that gives you a direction whenever you can't decide what the best direction is to take. In my business, iClean Facility Services, we have 10 core values. We actually sat down over a weekend and we came up, what are the core values of our business? What do we want to stand for? What will we tolerate? What won't we tolerate? And it's so important to us that as a lot of our cleaners are Sri Lankan, we even translated it into Sinhalese so that our team can understand what our core values are as well. And so I would highly recommend you spend some time and you do that. Decide what it is you will tolerate, decide what it is you won't tolerate, what's important to you, because you can't really achieve your Ikigai, your really life's purpose, unless you have a set of core values by which you will stand by. Let's go to step number 4. And step number 4 is fairly obvious, I would think. Mr. Rohn once said, take massive action on a good idea. So now you've sat down, you've come up with your Ikigai, you've decided what your core values are, you're starting to overcome those fears gradually. It will take time. And so you now need to take massive action on a good idea. So let's say you did want to do a YouTube channel on dog handling skills. You really just now need to apply. You need to get in front of a camera. You need to put out a video. And I can tell you now, nobody will watch the first 50. So you will need to really commit to this as a long-term project. But take massive action on a good idea. Don't listen to the little voices going off in your head. Just keep going, keep plowing ahead. As Mr. Rohn would say, take massive action on a good idea. And if you do, you will find that slowly but surely you'll get better and better at what you're doing. And in the end, you'll be finding that you get closer and closer to your Ikigai. Now, the other part of taking massive action is to set some goals for what it is you want to achieve. Now, I've actually done a goals workshop on video. I'll put a link on that below and you can have a look at that, because I think that having clear, concise goals with timelines is one of the most important things you can do if you really want to find your true life's purpose. Now, as I promised at the beginning of this video, I've created this PDF on 11 questions to help you find your Ikigai. If you go to the link below, you can download that and then take time. Don't do it in a hurry. Put some time aside to really think about these 11 questions, because they really will give you some clarity and some purpose as to where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to have now in the next few years of your life. So if you found this video useful, could I ask you to like it and even consider subscribing to the channel? Every week I'm putting a video out on something that Mr. Rohn shared with me, either one of his quotes, one of his philosophies that I still use today. So there'll be a lot of videos coming down in the next year or so. So thank you again, Stuart, for recommending this video. I hope it will assist you in finding a new direction as you move into your 60s. And for those of you watching, if you haven't found your Ikigai yet, I would ask you to do so. I know that if you do, you will thank me later.